everyone, good afternoon. This is Uday. I'm the trainer for today's demo on SAP MM. I have close to 10 years of SAP consulting experience working with different companies, and I'm a part-time SAP freelance trainer on different modules. This is the brief introduction about myself. So today we are going to have the demo on SAP MM in three different phases. Phase 1 is about introduction to ERP and SAP, basic introductions. Phase 2 is about the more about SAP MM. Phase 3 will be question and answer session on whatever your career aspects on SAP and all you have, you can ask. So this is the overall approach we follow in a three-phase manner. Okay. Any questions, any doubts throughout the demo, you can ask me. Okay. I'll give ample of spaces and opportunities to ask questions. So don't hesitate to ask any question, okay? And which is of topic relevance. So I understand English, Telugu, and Hindi. Any language you are comfortable, you can ask me the questions. So remember, three phases. One is the basics of ERP and SAP, then SAP MM and cycles, and then your career aspects we can talk. So any questions as of now, anyone?
No, sir.
All right, team. So we will start with what is ERP. ERP is abbreviated as Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP is abbreviated as Enterprise Resource Planning. So basically, organizations require ERP tools to streamline the operations. Organizations require ERP tools to streamline the operations and run the business transactions. Whereas if you talk about what companies need this, basically, if you see very large companies who has lot of departments in their companies like production, procurement, warehouse, finance, sales, those all different departments need lots of transactions every month and year going on. Those all transactions you need to maintain them in the company. That's why you need the ERP tools. But if you talk about like small, hello, sorry. So if you talk about small businesses like let's suppose very grocery stores and supermarkets, you don't need an ERP tool to manage their transactions. The reason behind it is these are small activities, small businesses with less departments and small scale of transactions. But we are talking about companies like Tata, Reliance, Wipro, TCS, any big companies. So these big companies operate with a lot of different departments. And these all will need a streamlined tool to manage all the transactions. Because procurement will have the purchasing activities, sales will have sales and distribution marketing, finance to collect the money and pay the money, and warehouse will have a lot of goods movement involved and HR activities, right? So different departments you have, those are a lot of transactions you'll have in the company. So there are a lot of ERP tools to manage all those transactions, such as Microsoft Dynamics, Infor, Oracle, SAP, and on, right? So out of all the ERP tools, SAP is the market leader. So there are a lot of ERP tools available in the market, but out of all of them, SAP is the market leader. Why? Because of the integration SAP offers. Because SAP is a tool which gives all-round integration between all the departments, like your procurement to production, your warehouse to finance, your sales to procurement, right? You will have an integration easily. So this integration, what in SAP will offer, right, is not something that you get in all the other ERP tools. That's the reason why SAP is the market leader. So different departments integration would be easily done with SAP, and any sort of integration of data to be moved will also be done from SAP to other third-party applications also. Able to understand so far, guys? Any questions? So team, basically, if you see, SAP is one of the ERP tools available in the market. And SAP is abbreviated as Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. SAP is abbreviated as Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. The SAP was invented in 1972 by 5 ex-IBM employees. So it has been 50 years of journey for SAP. It's growing in the market. So basically, if you see, this is the basic introduction about ERP and SAP. ERP is a type of a tools which is required for all business activities to run. But SAP is the one of the ERP tool in the market, and SAP is the market leader. So last but not the least, remember, we never call it as SAP in SAP world. We always call it as SAP only. Why? Because SAP in German means pig, so we always call it as SAP only. So SAP is abbreviated as Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. Any questions on the introduction, anyone? If you have any question, you can ask me, guys, about introduction to ERP and introduction to SAP. Any questions you have, you can ask me. If you don't understand something also, feel free to ask me, guys. Don't hesitate. So now comes to what is SAP consisting of? So SAP is always a module centric software. SAP has always been a module centric software. So what happens is SAP, the broad classification of modules are functional and technical. So functional modules are the ones where there would be no coding at all. Functional modules are the ones where there would be no coding at all. So what will you do without coding? You will have having either two roles. Okay, you'll have two roles. One is either you will have the implementation project or you will be in a support project. You will have either an implementation project or you will have a support project. So what happens is basically in the implementation project, you will configure the SAP system for the client. But if it's a support project, you will solve the issues for the end users. I repeat, you'll configure the SAP system for the client in an implementation project, but in the support project, you will solve the issues for the end users. So there would be no coding at all. You will be configuring the system as a functional consultant in SAP. But what module on functional? You will be having, like you see, SAP MM. SAP MM stands for Materials Management. SAP MM stands for Metals Management. SAP MM talks about sourcing, procurement, and inventory part of a company. Sourcing, procurement, and inventory part of a company. SAP MM talks about the logistics or the supply chain cycle, the basic sourcing, procurement, and inventory part of the company. Like that, you will have different modules also, like finance, sales, production, customer relationship, human capital, warehouse, QM, PM, and all. All those modules will also be individual modules. Consultants will be working. So we will be focusing more about SAP MM today in the demo as a functional module. So this is the basic introductions if you see in the modules of functional, and there are technical modules also in SAP where you will see SAP ABAP and Basis. ABAP is the coding wing of SAP. Any custom coding requirements comes during the course of our functional process. ABAP will do the custom coding. SAP Basis. SAP Basis is like the admin job. They will do the system setup, patch upgrades, activities, and all by the basis consultants will do for the system. But ABAP will do the custom coding if at all requirement comes up. So this is the overall architecture of SAP as a module. Any questions? Any doubts? Anyone?
Yes. Sir, what is SAP SRM Ariba in SAP MM?
Those are all those are not in SAP MM. Those are relevant modules to SAP MM we will have, which are obsolete in SRM, and now we have Ariba. So different modules we have in SAP market, and each of the module will have a relevance. Like after some years of experience, you will be able to learn some modules which you have to grow together. But initially, learning one module is the only one option to start your SAP career. Any other questions, anyone? So now before we go more into SAP MM, one thing I would tell you is if you see all the modules that are there in SAP will work on both the versions of SAP called ECC and S4HANA. So what are those? There are two versions of SAP you have available in the market. One is SAP ECC and the other is SAP S4HANA. SAP ECC is the existing version of SAP we have, but whereas S4HANA is the latest version of SAP we have in the market. But both the versions will have all the modules working, so they are not different. There would be some 35 to 40% changes that we have in ECC to S4HANA, and those changes which you have we will be covered in S4HANA, who will opt for S4HANA course as well. So ECC is the what are the technical differences? There is a technical differences, but but that's something very technical. You can't understand if we tell it that at this moment without SAP knowledge. So basically, there are some process variations, differentiations, and high-level architecture differentiations, new features and options SAP has given. But remember, all the modules like SAP MM, SD, FICO, all the modules will work on both ECC and HANA. It's not a different one. Any questions? Any doubts so far? Anyone?
Hello.
Yes?
Sir, which is the best option to start a career in SAP? Which module?
MM is fine. Yep. And ECC or S4HANA, if you ask me, both of them is also fine. You register for only ECC or you register for S4, it works. But for the module perspective, MM is good because there would be a lot of openings, and it's comparatively easier to learn, I would say. I don't say it's completely easy, but it's comparatively easier to learn.
Okay. Okay.
So now comes the question is about what is SAP MM talks about. So we will start an SAP MM cycle with this. That is requirement determination. So requirement determination is all about what you want to buy. You want to buy a raw material for your company, or you want to buy a service for your company, or you want to buy an asset for your company. I repeat, you want to buy a raw material for your company, or you want to buy a service for your company, or you want to buy an asset for your company. So what do you want to buy? So if you decide what to buy, then the next question is where you want to buy from. Because you know any vendor who gives this material, or you don't know any vendor, you have to ask the question. You have to go for the bidding in the market and select a vendor, right? What is the process? And after that, if you decide and select a vendor, then the next process is you know what material to buy from which vendor. Okay, if you know what material to buy from which vendor, then the next thing is creating a purchase order. A purchase order is a formal document sent to the vendor requesting goods delivery. A purchase order is a formal document requesting goods delivery from the vendor. Boss, I need so and so material at so and so cost. Can you please deliver it to me? So once the purchase order is created and sent to the vendor will give the goods to us at our plant. So once the vendor will deliver the goods to us, we will accept the goods receipt in SAP. Because the purchase order is created in SAP and sent to the vendor, we will receive the goods in SAP. And we will take the invoice also, which the vendor will accept. And then we will do the payment. That means the finance will do the payment. So this is the overall procurement cycle we have in the market. So this procurement cycle everywhere you see is the same in SAP in and what happens is there are different types of procurements you will have, which we will be seeing. So first thing is about the procurement cycle. You what you need, you buy from whom, you take the you order the stock, you receive the stock, you take the bill, you do the payment.
Hello,
Yep.
hello, sir. I am Gaurav,
Go ahead.
talking from Pune. Hello,
Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead, please.
sir. I am not in starting of the video, so
Mhm.
I was not in starting from starting. Can you share some starting points for me
Yes,
in chat?
you'll get the recording of it. You can go through.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Sir, actually, I want to ask one more question.
Mm-hmm.
I am from mechanical background. So,
I
which
think
one? Uh,
MM
which
is the
one?
answer, and I would say let's keep these questions at the end. We'll have only these questions for sure talked about.
Okay,
So, but the answer is MM, yes, for sure, for you. Understood your
sir.
question.
And PP also there.
PP is not the one I would say because there would be less openings in the market.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So now comes the question is team. If you see this procurement cycle runs everywhere, I said, but there are different types of procurements, and because of the logistics involved. Standard, subcontracting, consignment, intercompany, intracompany, stock transfers, then service procurements, contracts, scheduling agreements, different procurement processes would be there around. So all those processes, what you have, we need to cover, and we will cover for you. How? So basically, before I cover them all, I'll tell you how this happens in SAP, because still now you haven't seen the screen of SAP, how it looks, right? So if you create a purchase order, you receive the goods, you take the invoice, that is a simple procurement cycle. But this procurement cycle is something you see happens with a transaction code. Each business transaction runs with a transaction code. Each business transaction will run with a transaction code. So in SAP, everything runs with a transaction code. You need to use the transaction codes. Okay. And those are standard. You can't change them. So you will have a unique login like this for your practice. You will be given 2 months or 3 months of SAP system access. So if you see the everything happens with a transaction code. Like if you see ME21 and if I give what is it? Create purchase order. From what vendor, what material, at what quantity, at what delivery date, what price, in what plant you want the stock, we can order. Right? Then next T code is MIGO. MIGO is you see goods received for purchase order. Whatever the purchase order you ordered, you want to receive the stock, you can do. Go to MIRO. MIRO is for invoice. For the purchase order you created, you want to do the invoice. Then payment. F110 is the payment. You see payment. So what do you understand? Transaction codes are something standard, and these transaction codes are same in everywhere. Be it in my class, on test system, project system, interviews, client process, the transaction codes are same in everywhere. So you can't change them, and hardly 20-30 T codes you have to learn. Don't worry about it. You can easily remember also. So when you do every process, first we also teach you not only the transaction codes and process, we also teach you the prerequisite configuration. If you have to order some from some vendor, if I give this vendor, system is picking. Tata Motors purchase organization, Tata Motors company, this particular some material of same this quantity in my plant I'm giving. How did system take all this data? Any random number you will give, system will not take. We have to set up as a consultant, because as a consultant, people will expect you to be a configurator. You have to configure the system and solve the issues. So that kind of prerequisites required for each process will be taught by me. I will teach every process with prerequisites and configurations required for you to be as a consultant. And how will I teach them? How will I teach is basically every class we will start with class with a theory and practical approach. Okay, and every class whatever we will have will be in a very structural approach we follow, guys. That is, we will start with the very basics of introduction to SAP. We assume you don't know anything about SAP. You are hearing it for the first time. So SAP modules, partners, systems, implementation types, releases, right? Very basics. How do you log into SAP? How do you navigate to SAP, right? You don't know, you're fresher. So we cover all of them. What are the different data you have? Org data, master data, transaction data. Then one simple procurement cycle. So if you understand it, then whatever the requirements of enterprise structure, how do you configure the org data? How do you create material data, and how do you configure your own master data? How do you configure them? Like that, step by step, all the concepts would be covered. Okay. And whatever concept we cover on what date, I will make a note also. The reason is so that you will be able to have a record later on what topic we covered on what date. And all the concepts that I cover, I'll be giving a running notes to you. Every class you will get a running notes. Every class. Okay. Every class you'll get a running notes. Every class you'll get a recording of it. So there would be specialized tools we have, LMS tools we have. So in the LMS tools, we will provide those. All the classes will also go in LMS Pro tools only. So you need not to worry about it. Okay, so you will be having an LMS access of tool like this. This is my access. Okay, so I'll have the courses, whatever the course is running on. So in each course, we'll have the, you see, live sessions, recordings, everything here mentioned. And I will upload the documents on every class, each topic wise. Okay, you can download and use them as well. So running notes for every class will be given. Okay, every class running notes. Every class live recordings would be there. Those recordings will be there in this here itself. You can view it any number of times you want. Okay, and on top of it, real-time training would also be given where all the topics are covered. We will cover the real times as well, like what are the implementation projects, what are the support projects that come, how the implementation projects are done, how the support projects are done, and how the interview questions will come up on each concept. So each concept wise interview questions, preparation documents will also be given. So I am showing you for your proof. You can see here, including the resume help also will be done. You see, this is the latest class that we are done, classes and interview in Excel. This Excel what I was showing. Okay, SAP MM interview documents, important topics notes, interview questions with answers, and cheat sheet to prepare. So all the documents details required for you to prepare would be given. And I will take care of your resume help as well, because whatever we train you on, that if you want a resume to go into the market, either as a fresher or experienced or implementation support or only support, core plus IT, domain plus IT, all the cases we will be supporting you. And the documents process we will include, right? All the documents that are required for you to prepare would be given. So you need not to worry. So if I will take care of them only. So if you see, this is what I promise rather than whatever institute is giving you. And I'll give you the practice tracker, because if I tell you the class, you'll have the recording, you'll have the notes, but how to practice step by step you need, right? That will be in this practice tracker. Step by step, topic wise, how do you practice? That will be given in practice trackers, each topic wise, if you see. Okay, so you can easily prepare. And along with it, this whole set of documentation would be given where you will have, I told you, right, 70 plus interview questions with answers, which are real time. Okay, and also all the documents that are required for you to study. So you see basically this one. process wise. Same, any document you want me to open, I can open and show. So these all I have consolidated and prepared, and I'll give you not only with the class, after the classes also. So the reason behind it is you will be busy able to prepare and practice so that you will be good. So remember, every class will be live recorded. You will have the access, and running notes of every class would be given so that you can use them to prepare after the class. And you will have an SAP access to practice, so you can practice in your free time. And whatever the topics I'll cover, you can prepare them, and at the end I'll train you on the implementation and support projects so that you can be having the real-time implementation knowledge as well. And after that, support projects means like how the issues will come up, right? What kind of issues will come, how do you solve them, the tickets and issues, right? So those will also be given to you. Where is this? Let me show. So you see, all the information will provide along with the theory and practical classes we give. So you can use that information and prepare. And at the end, when you are ready, the resume help will also be done so that you can go into the market. These are all some samples I have provided for my students, and I prepared for them. They went into the market. So this is how the end-to-end basically classes will be taken care with all the concepts of SAP MM, which you can prepare and go into the market. So this is the USP of our training. Real-time data, like you says, the real-time incidents, how do you solve and what is the issues, and what is the implementation process, and what are the documents, and how do you practice, right? This will never be given anywhere, because though everyone covers the concept. So we cover the concepts in theory plus practical, and we have designed the course in such a way that we will give you the practice trackers to practice, SAP access so that you can practice well in that system, and you can prepare them all the concepts at the end, and real-time training is covered after the concepts are covered. So, and then so that you can go into the market easily. So this is the overall perspective, guys. I am done with the demo and on how I teach. And now the forum is open. Any questions you have, anyone, feel free to ask me.
Yes, sir. This is Pallavi. I'm having a question. Uh, After learning this SAP ECC,
Mhm.
uh, are you also giving some means information or details about HANA, or we have to learn it separately?
If you register for S4, we'll give the S4. If not, no.
Okay. And how many implementation will be there? Matlab, means project, live project or
Live
demo?
projects are not something that's like, we can't do a live project, to be frank, I'm telling you. Institutes would say the projects, but the problem is I don't call it as a project. I call it as a methodology. The reason behind it is one implementation project goes for 2 years. Even if I
Okay.
bring it down to 2 months, I can't make you work in a project, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that really doesn't happen. So what I would do is, for those things, I will bring the real-time examples to you and make you understand this is how the process happens. So that's the difference of terminology, but this is what I'll give the real-time information on both implementation and support, but not as a project by myself, I would say.
Okay. And one thing is there, what is data migration, and are you giving that information to us?
Data migration in with S4HANA will cover, yes.
Not in ECC?
Right, because that will be taken care by the separate team usually. With S4, we have a different methods to be covered, because data migration is not part of any time in SAP specific modules. So that would be having a module called SAP bots, if you happen to hear. SAP bots is a module purely for business object data services for ETL way of migrating the data in SAP projects. So data migration with S4HANA was simplified a bit. So that has to be covered because of the S4HANA topics, else will not be covered.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yep, go ahead, please.
Uh, Sir, please tell us regarding questions and regarding preparation for global certification course.
Mm-hmm.
In this course, you also cover this topic of
Can you repeat it? You also provide what is you said?
regarding study of global certification course.
Mm-hmm.
In this all class, can you cover all the topic regarding global certification course?
All the topics would be same for global certification as well, but global certification doesn't need any separate training. So this anywhere the standard topics would only be covered, but you need some real-time practical experience, then it's easy to clear the global certification. So the answer is yes, but it's not easy after a training immediately you can clear. You need more practice, then that would be better, because the cost of certification itself is high. So the more you prepare and go, that would be beneficial, and nothing else you need to prepare. What we train you prepare, that's okay, that's enough. Whatever the guidance on that required, I'll give you, no worries.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that after completing this course, can we get our global certificate by doing registration on that portal or something? Is it? I heard this process from someone, but I'm not sure whether it is true or not.
So global certification, even if you're trained or not, SAP will allow you to do, but it's because it's at your own money, you are doing it. So after training, you prepare well and you do, and then you want to go for certification, I can be the guidance. Like I can give you how to go for and when to go for, what is the method of payment, how much you need to pay SAP, and how do you write the exam. Those things I can help you with, not every point.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any doubts? Feel free, guys. Someone's question, someone asked, I am a mechanical engineer. I am also a mechanical engineer, guys. I'm into an SAP MM from last so many years. So SAP career. So don't worry about it. Whatever the career you're in, you'll fit into it here. So you can do, but the why we propose MM instead of PP is like not every project will have an will have a production planning. You from an outsider, you see, like usually know what else we will have other than production companies. There are a lot of service, and also there are a lot of distribution oriented businesses and retail businesses. So PP is not a module everywhere that is used. So MM is the one that is used everywhere. So you'll have a lot of openings. That's why we propose. It's not just because that we know only MM will teach. Okay, that's the answer for your question. Everybody able to understand? Any questions? Okay. So if team, no questions. I'm done. I'm stopping sharing. And any questions you have, you can later on talk to me as well with the conference call with the counselors. If not, directly also you can proceed with. And we have the new batches starting. And if you're interested, you can enroll into the classes. Thank
Hello.
you. Yeah.
Hello. Sir, uh, for SAP MM,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what will the prerequisites we want to know about?
Nothing. You just come empty-minded is also fine for us.
Okay,
We will.
sir. Is
Yeah.
there is a good trend in market for SAP MM now?
Yes.
So, what are the chances of getting selected by a good company? Is more or what is the condition?
I don't have an answer for it. What is the good chance of selecting in a good company depends on how good you practiced, right?
Sir, there is a lot of confusion between SAP MM and other modules, ECS or something, whatever. There are many types. So, only I have to go to MM, or there will be some other modules also we can learn.
One module is all enough, I would say. The reason is learning a module itself, maybe once you start, you will get to know. It will take some years to get a perfection.
Okay.
So, and market doesn't expect us to be in multiple modules also. So they
Okay.
don't expect us to be, no, you should know two, three, four. That never will come up. So as a fresher or some 2, 3, 4 years of experience, it's like one module is more enough.
Sir, there is another certification cost, or it is covered in it?
Which one?
Certification, SAP
Which
certification.
SAP certification, yes, with this course you can prepare and go into the market as well, and you can do the certification. If you want any details when you want to go for certification, you can ask me. I'll guide you with the steps, like how much to pay to SAP. You'll use your credit card and you pay to them, and how the exam pattern would be, how should you prepare. I'll give you the guidance.
Sir, is it SAP certification necessary for applying jobs or
Not mandatory.
clearing with? Huh?
Not mandatory.
Not mandatory. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Sir,
Sir,
one more
hello.
question I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Sir, when you are just giving implementation knowledge, because many times I used to see the job requirements are like they need, means they required the implementation experience from the candidate, because the
Yeah.
implementation is most important necessary thing, I guess. Uh, if you giving a means teaching on the demo project or any you're just giving any info knowledge, will be able to crack, means directly go and work on that, or do we need any further assistance, means in real job, means.
In real job, what happens is you can work on it, but you need a guidance, obviously, always from a seniors. So if we train you for a day and you go into the market and you can do all the job, no, that's definitely a wrong promise. We don't do that. We train you, you know the concepts, you understand, you know how to work, but later on you go into the projects, you will have seniors who will, what we say, uh, basically guide you to go better into the projects. How do you behave, operate?
Okay.
Yeah, because it's sufficient enough to start working, but doesn't mean that this is all that you will be an expert, right? So you get expertise after working with years of experience.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
But I just didn't get clarity on how you will teach us about implementation project. Can you explain me again, please?
So basically both, if it's implementation, I told only with S4 we covered the project, the requirements, how the methodology documents would be given and have to be written. And if it's a support project, how the issues will come up and how do you solve, right? Those things will be covered. So first point is, let's suppose every implementation project will have a methodology to cover and the documentation to be written in very well manner and the templates approach for it. And then also the, what we say, also you'll have this, what we say, cutover activities, processes. So those all steps, step by step, needs to be covered, which will be covered after the concept classes. So does that
Okay.
make sense? Or you need any more, let me know, don't hesitate.
Hello,
Yep, go ahead please.
sir. What is the difference between S4 and S4 HANA?
S4 and S4 HANA.
Hmm.
S4 is short form, S4 HANA is the full form.
Versions like that you told now. Two versions.
S4 and S4 HANA you asked, right?
No.
S4
The
HANA is the
two.
full name, S4 is the short name.
Okay, that's it.
Yes. What else, guys? Any other questions? Anyone? I think people
Yes,
had
sir.
questions. Yeah.
Sir, SAP MM and SAP HANA MM also is there. Are they both different?
No, I told, right, if you remember, ECC and HANA are the two versions of SAP we have. So whatever you register for, we will teach you, because
Okay.
HANA is the latest version that is available in the market.
What should fresher refer to?
Anything is fine. So I would tell you is like ECC is also good, but S4 HANA is the latest one. So you register for S4, that would be beneficial is what I would say. But as a fresher or experienced, whatever you register for, the market would not be like, no, we don't take these consultants. That's not the way they say. So always they look for latest technology. If you don't have also, they'll give an opportunity, because now if you ask me, S4 HANA came into the market in 2015, they introduced, and they came into the market in 2017. So it's already hardly 4 5 years, and not everyone is an expert. Fortunately, I had projects I have done on S4 HANA, so I have the knowledge. And that too, there is only some 30% difference from ECC to S4 only, not like too much of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?